Good morning, grade 12s. Welcome to physics class on Friday morning, June the 5th. We are getting very close to the end of this unit and this course, as a matter of fact. And let me begin today with a verse of the day, and then we're going to get into just a quick discussion about a few things. So the verse of the day today comes from Isaiah 45, verse 12, where it says, "It is I who made the earth and created mankind upon it. My own hands stretched out the heavens. I marshaled their starry host." So today what we want to talk about is the size and the age of the universe. And I was going to do this video outside, but it is far too windy out there. I thought it would be nice to do it outside, looking up at the sun and recognizing for you that the sun is 152 million kilometers from the Earth, about 92 million miles from the Earth. And it takes light 8 minutes to get from the sun to the Earth. And so if the sun were to die, to extinguish its light, 8 minutes later, we would know it. And so the first thing we want to talk about is the size. And as I read in the verse today and in the verses that I've read in the past, we know that the universe is immense. And in the verse I read today, it talks about God's own hands stretching out the heavens. And that's a bit of an important statement, as we'll get to a little bit later on. But what is the size of our universe? Well, the best current estimates would estimate that from Earth to the known sort of edge, and again we're taking assumptions and making some interpretations of some of the data and extrapolating from the data, but from the Earth to the edge is about 46-ish billion light years, which would make the entire universe about 93 billion light years across. All right, most scientists we'll assume now that our solar system and the Earth in the solar system is at or very near the center of the universe. And we have to assume that because no matter which way we are looking into space, we see the same thing. Now, we might say that the universe is eternal or infinite, and it might have an edge to it. Right now, the most common prevailing theories are that it has an edge, that the universe is 93 billion light years across and still expanding. There are those creation scientists that believe verses like Isaiah 45 verse 12, where it says God has stretched out the heavens, that stretching process is still happening and the universe is expanding because it is God that is stretching it. Now, 93 billion light years, that's a number we can't comprehend. I don't know if you know this or not, but 1 light year is about 9.5 times 10 to the 15 meters. So, a light year is the distance that light travels in 1 year. So it's a pretty simple calculation. We know the speed of light, we know how many seconds there are in a year, multiply the two together and you get the distance that light travels in 1 year, and it's about 9.5 times 10 to the 15 meters. And so 93 billion light years across is an immense amount of distance. Just for reference, the nearest stars after the sun are 4.5 light years away. So again, 4.5 times that 9.5 times 10 to the 15 gives you, again, an immense number. And that's the stars that are closest to us. And so it's important to recognize, too, that space is mostly made up of space. A lot of empty space, because the distances are so immense between them. So then this takes us to an idea of how old the universe is. And again, it depends on your perspective now, how old the universe is. Are you an evolutionary scientist, or are you someone who is a proponent of creation science? Evolution would say that the universe is about 14 billion years old, and that's simply a calculation of how long it would take the light from the outer edges of the universe, from the farthest stars away that we can see, to get to Earth where we can see it, right? Light travels at a finite speed of 3 times 10 to the 8 meters per second, and so we can calculate how long it would take light to get from that far star to the Earth, and it is estimated at 14 billion years. Now, of course, creation scientists would say that the Earth and the universe and everything in it is somewhere in the neighborhood of 10,000 years or less. And so again, that's a pretty big disparity in the dates. And how do we deal with those kinds of things? So you have to decide for yourselves which one you are going to believe. And for myself, I believe in a young Earth. I believe in a young universe. I believe in creation. And for myself, it deals with starting points. I start with Scripture and then use science to attempt to show that. And I appreciate scientists who do that, who have the starting point as what Scripture says and then use science to fill that in. Whereas evolutionists would take the science as their starting point and then try to fit other things into the science. It depends which way you want to work it. And you make assumptions either way. Right? None of us, nobody, was around at the creation of the universe, whether you're an evolutionist or a creationist, and so there are assumptions that have to be made on both sides, and those assumptions deal with your starting points. And who am I to say which one is right, which one is wrong? Everybody has their own beliefs on it, and that is fine. But you have to decide for yourself what you believe. And I do also believe that this is not a salvation issue. I believe that you can be a Christian, you can be a follower of Christ, and still believe in a long time period for the universe. Now, just so you know too, there are some really good theories out there. You don't have to accept the 14 billion years just because that is the prevailing scientific theories out there. There are some very good resources for you that would deal with the creation side of things. One of my favorites is a website called creation.com. It's a group of scientists, PhD scientists that write about creation and start with the creation assumptions and have worked out things for a young universe timeline. One of the big things is something called time dilation. Because of the way our year is ending now, we're not going to get to do the theory of relativity, which deals with time dilation. But what it basically is that time is not the constant that we think it is. And while hundreds or thousands of years are passing by on Earth, many, many, many more years could be passing by at the edges of the universe due to a concept called time dilation. So feel free to take a look at that. But again, if you do research on the age of the universe, you're going to get the 14 billion because the evolutionary scientists have, I don't know, what do you want to say? They have saturated the news media with the Big Bang Theory and with the ideas of a long-aged universe. And that's because for evolution to work, you need a long period of time. With creation, of course, as the Bible would state it, you don't need a long period of time. So, the size is huge. That we know, 100%. We know the size of the universe is immense, and through it we can see God's glory. The age of the universe is up for debate again because there are many, many assumptions that have to be made when calculating it. And so, depending on where you fall, it could be 14 billion years, or it could be somewhere in the neighborhood of 10,000 years old. All right, over the next several days, today, Monday, Tuesday, and probably Wednesday, you're going to be watching a number of documentaries, a number of videos. I'm going to put them all online today, and you can watch them at your leisure. If you watch between 20 and 25 minutes a day, you'll get them all done before Tuesday or Wednesday next week, but feel free to watch more. Many of them are short, but there is one longer one that is about 48 minutes long, and that one you can break into two parts. The first several that you're going to watch are from a creationist perspective, and you will see that through it. And then the last one is a documentary about exploring space through the eyes of NASA scientists. And so it is produced by NASA, and it focuses on, what is it called? It's called Conquering Space, the Moon and Beyond. And so that one is obviously not from a creationist standpoint, and you'll see some of the assumptions and things that are made there as well. And so I do want you to watch them all and get some good information on it. The end of this unit, there won't be a formal test, but I am going to get you to write a little bit of a paper on some of your thoughts, and so you can look forward to that. That'll come up on Connect in the next, during the next week sometime. All right, that's all I wanted to say today. Watch the videos. They'll all be there, and you can watch them on your leisure between now and next week, Wednesday. And have a great day and a great weekend, and we will see you next week.